Howdy, guys. Welcome to night 71 of Big Brother All-Stars. And this is Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. A good Thursday morning to y'all. Tonight's eviction night. Christmas or Memphis, one of them is heading home. And we're going to be at Final Four. Can you believe it? We are that close to the end of Big Brother All-Stars season. So what I want to do, over the next 15 minutes or so, we'll go over some of the key conversations that took place inside the house and in preparation for tonight's eviction ceremony and prepping for HOH and how these Final Four are going to work together. Now, I've got to say, typically Wednesday nights, you have a lot of campaigning taking place between the two people on the block. Not quite as much of that we saw last night as I would have expected. And it's because both the nominees on the block think they're safe. Someone is going to be bitterly disappointed later this evening, and we'll see how that goes. We really had more conversations between Cody and Nicole and Enzo, just going back and forth about who they want to save, who they want to send home. Do they tell them? Do they blindside them? So we'll talk about all of those here in the next few minutes. So let's start off in the key room. This is Memphis and Christmas talking to one another. Kind of a funny conversation here at the start. Christmas tells Memphis, she says, look, Memphis, there's something that I want to tell you about finale, but we need to wait until the feeds are down tomorrow. Now it's today. I really want to tell you this about finale, but I can't tell you now. In other words, she can't say it in front of the cameras. It's something that she wants to say once the feeds are shut down. As y'all know, we spend a lot of time on Thursdays getting ready for the ceremonies, with going pet cams and all that. Something that she wants to tell Memphis. Not sure what it is. Maybe we'll find out later on after the show's over. Continuing the conversation, Memphis is talking to Christmas and saying, look, just in case I do go home tomorrow, Christmas, is there anything that I don't know about your game that I should know right now, so that if I'm in the jury, that I can use to help convince everyone that's in there and help sell you if it comes down to a final 2 votes. So just spill the beans. Tell me everything about your game that I don't know yet, and I'll use it in the jury to help you out. Well, maybe that's what he's got planned. Or with him thinking that he's staying, maybe it's got a little bit more to do with him wanting to know all of her info in order to help him survive against these other 3 and make it to final 2 himself. So what I'd be doing, but as I said previously, both of these 2 players are so confident that they are staying that I'm curious to see what's going to happen tomorrow night after the eviction. Are they going to be bitter? Is there going to be yelling? Is someone going to walk out without saying goodbye to the others? Or is it going to just be treated as gameplay? Good job, guys, and I'll see y'all here in another couple of weeks. I don't know, but someone is going to be surprised. Someone's going to be blindsided, regardless of whether they're told beforehand or not. I do believe. So we do have that. Now, at this point in time, just a little bit later, Christmas goes up to the HOH room. I think it's to campaign with Nicole, but she finds Nicole asleep in bed. Cody's on the couch listening to music. So she says something about, I just came up to get some cookies or something. She comes in real quick. She immediately leaves. It's very interesting. Enzo's been spending a lot of times in the evening, they've used the term bodyguarding, kind of watching over Nicole so that it's a little more difficult for Christmas to come up and campaign to her and spend a lot of time with her. Seems like maybe Cody is doing the same thing this evening just to kind of block Christmas a little bit. Are Cody and Enzo that nervous about Nicole flipping to Christmas potentially if Christmas stays? They've been saying, we're doing it to protect you, Nicole, so that you don't have to deal quite as much with Christmas up here all the time and all that. I think it's more than that. I think it's the 2 of them keeping a little bit of an eye on Nicole and just trying to keep her from getting any more chummy than possible with Christmas, with the idea that they are sending Memphis home, which has been talked about. Is that still the case? I don't know. Let's talk about it and see. So she goes right back downstairs. Later, Cody comes downstairs. I can't remember if it's diary room or he's in the kitchen. Christmas heads right back up when she sees that happening, comes in, knocks on the door. Nicole's still half asleep, but Christmas comes in. Not a whole lot of game talk because Nicole's just not really participating. But Christmas is saying she feels so bad for Memphis knowing that he's going home. So she let him win it backgammon when they played downstairs just a little while ago. They're talking about possible competitions for HOH and the veto ceremony, in particular the veto because Nicole can't play HOH. But they're talking about that. Nicole is just barely awake and not really spending a lot of time commenting. I think Christmas is up there for, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes or so, trying to carry on some conversations. After that, eventually then Memphis comes upstairs as well. And he starts listening to music while Nicole continues to just lay in bed and act like she's asleep or drift off a little bit, some combination. Meanwhile, Cody and Enzo are down in the photo room sleeping downstairs. Exciting feats. Oh, all kinds of amazement getting to report on events like that. But that's all right. That's part of it. We're at that point in the season. Eventually we get to dinner time. They've got a combination of pizza and noodles, and everyone is there eating and talking. No game talk, but just chit chat, things like that. Soon after that, we get into the photo room. Nicole and Enzo are in the photo room, and it's interesting because both of them are now saying that, hey, I'm fine sending either Memphis or Christmas home. I don't really care one way or the other. And so they both want to do that and saying, hey, whatever the two of y'all want to do, I'm fine with it. Nicole, Enzo, both saying it. Is that truly the case? No, as we'll find out. There's some conversations. They have some definite opinions, but no one wants to be too forceful with the other two people in that group of three about who they want to send home. Except for Cody. He's pretty comfortable still wanting to send Memphis home. All right, so we cut away from that. We go to the key room. Christmas is under a blanket in the key room. She's crying. She at one point stops and says, I just need to finish this stupid game. Now, she thinks she's staying. I truly think she does, but the stress level at this point in the season is just so much that even if you think you're safe, it still just overwhelms you at times. And so that's what we've got Christmas doing right now. It's just a little bit overwhelmed as she thinks about the next week or so that she's going to be dealing with. So we go back upstairs to the HOH room. Cody and Enzo are upstairs. Enzo, again, talking about who's going home or not. Enzo is saying, look, I want to get rid of Christmas, Cody. Yo, let's consider this. Let's talk about sending Christmas out the door. He says, she is all over the place. She is driving me crazy. Cody says, hey, if you want to send Christmas home, I'm okay with that. That's fine if that's what you want to do, but you need to talk to Nicole and make sure that's what she wants to do, and she's comfortable with it as well. But if that's what you want, okay, that's fine. Enzo thinks that Christmas is going to team up with Nicole if they keep her, if she stays in the house. And he says if Memphis stays, he feels like Memphis would go after Nicole and Nicole would go after Memphis. So why wouldn't they keep Memphis in the place and keep that wise guy alliance and everything else versus keeping Christmas and running the risk that she and Nicole maybe work together just a little bit more. But then Cody starts arguing why he still thinks, even though he said he's fine either way, Cody still is arguing why he thinks Memphis needs to go. He says, look, if Memphis goes, Nicole's going to go after Christmas and vice versa. Yeah, I'm not sure I absolutely believe that. Would Nicole go after Christmas? Yeah, I think probably so. Would Christmas go after Nicole? No, I think I think Christmas goes after Cody as her first target in that case. But I think the reason that Cody is arguing to send Memphis out the door is because the type of competitors that Christmas and Memphis are. Cody considers, I think, Memphis to be the stronger competitor when it comes to mental competitions. And maybe that worries Cody just a little bit more. I truly think that he considers Christmas a strong competitor on the physical side, but he also thinks that he can beat Christmas in any kind of physical competition. So I think he's looking to send Memphis out the door just because he feels like he's better going head to head with Christmas. That anything she's good at, he'll be better. And so it just protects his game just that much more. Just my personal opinion on that. Memphis is saying that is Memphis saying he does not should. Oh, Enzo. I always mess those names up. For those of you who mentioned before, I do it once again. I apologize. So let me just start all over again. Enzo is saying that he doesn't know that Nicole actually takes Cody to a final two if it comes down to it. I am not sure why Enzo would ever even suggest that to Cody. Why? It doesn't do him a whole lot of good unless there's some small part of Enzo's thinking and strategy that may be thinking about a final three of Enzo and Cody and Memphis. In other words, the wise guys making it all the way to the end. If that's the case, does he want to create a little bit of suspicion of Nicole, put it in Cody's brain? Maybe. That's the only reason I really can think why Enzo would even bring that topic up to Cody at this point in time. But he does. So take with that what you will. Cody is talking about who they send and all that. And he says, look, the only bad thing, Enzo, the bad scenario that we have to deal with is if you win HOH and then Christmas wins veto. And if that situation happens, Christmas is sending me home. We know that Christmas is sending me home at that point. And I agree. Christmas is sending Cody home in such a situation. Enzo, making his argument again, Enzo is saying, look, Memphis, if he's still here, he may save you, Cody, save you and go for Nicole instead. If I win HOH and it's between the two of y'all, you may have a better chance with Memphis. Whereas if Christmas is still here and she's got it, you're right. She's sending you out the door. So why wouldn't you consider keeping Memphis instead? So I think that's a good point. But in response, then Cody comes back with the fact that, look, Memphis screwed up. He spilled the beans. He reminded us earlier today that he won his Final Four veto competition in his season and controlled who the final three were. So again, Cody's just thinking that when working under pressure, when working with the kind of events that he expects to see in a Final Four, he just thinks Memphis is going to be the stronger player. And again, he is tight with Nicole. He doesn't want the wise guys to go all the way to the end. He wants it to be himself and Nicole and Enzo in that final three. So there's the disparity you've got between the two opinions in that particular situation. At that point, Nicole comes in the door. Now, Enzo is telling Nicole that, hey, Christmas might be a better competitor. Everyone is saying at that point in time that they all want to send Christmas home from purely a personal level. They just are tired of having her around. They don't want to put up with another week of it. But they also are all saying, yeah, but from a strategic gameplay, it may be better to go ahead and send Memphis home, even though we all would rather have him than Christmas in the house. But at that point, Nicole, she kind of just has enough of it. She said, now, here's the thing. If y'all want to split the vote and force a tie to me or whatever, that's fine. But I want Memphis gone, and I will break the vote if necessary. I'll do what it takes, but I want to send Christmas home. Again, I think she's a lot tighter with Nicole than she is with Memphis, so I'm not surprised to hear that particular answer. They now talk about whether they're going to blindside Memphis or Christmas or not. Enzo, he wants to tell Memphis, just even 10 minutes ahead of time, whatever. But Nicole and Cody are saying, no, don't blindside him. He'll just call things out. He'll try to, who knows what he'll do. Let's just not say a word until it's done. He can say things if he wants as he walks out the door, but why give him a heads up to do anything ahead of time? And so we'll see. It may be a lot more. It'll be certainly for viewers. It's going to be a lot more interesting, a lot more exciting if both of them are sitting on the block. Julie Chen says by a vote of 2-0, and then someone is going to be shell shocked at that point in time. All right. At one point, all three of them are upset because Christmas is so confident about her position that Cody says she hadn't even come to talk to Cody all day long. This is on Wednesday. She hadn't talked to him on Tuesday. She didn't come and talk game to him again yesterday as well. So Cody at one point says, hey, if Christmas doesn't come to me before the eviction vote and try to at least talk some game with me, let's just agree we're going to send her home if she doesn't even bother doing that. I'm not sure he's completely serious, but he kind of throws it out there, and the others say, that seems kind of risky. That's a bad way to decide one way or the other. So I don't think anything will happen with that, but they are a little uncomfortable that she's feeling so confident that she hadn't even bothered to try to come to Cody to ask for votes or anything else. At that point in time, people start drifting off to bed. Christmas and Memphis are in bed, separate beds. Cody and Enzo are all wired and they're loud. They're playing chess and they're just going. They were sleeping all day long, so now they're wide awake. But eventually, about 2:00, 2:30, Big Brother time, they go to bed as well. We get lights out everywhere in the house, and so we call it another day. And now Thursday, we're to the HOH. Now, tonight's the eviction and the HOH. A lot of the house guests have been talking about that the veto is more important because the veto winner decides the final three. HOH doesn't really decide anything. Well, keep in mind, whoever wins HOH has punched their ticket to the final three. So for whoever wins it, it's incredibly important. But they're right. It's the veto winner that picks the final two that go to the final three. But HOH is a huge deal tonight because whoever wins it is in final three. And we're right there at the end. So guys, I'm looking forward tonight. I'm looking forward to talking to y'all again tomorrow morning, Friday morning. I will see y'all in 24 hours. Y'all have a fantastic Thursday. Enjoy the episode. I know I am. It's going to be great. Y'all have a great one. SKD143. Cheers, guys. Night. Morning. It's morning. Bye, guys.